One Live.
Where you can learn about issues that affect us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. For your girl, 411 Live.
For everything, there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. My guests today are in a different season, and we're going to talk about that. Hello, everyone. I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. Joining me, Andre Lee Ellis, founder of We Got This, and his lovely wife, Angela Ellis. Andre has been with us, I think this is your third time with the 411 Live. And I wanted you to come back because of this seasonal change that you're going through. And what happens with you affects Angela. And so I wanted to make sure that she was here too. You guys have an interesting journey, but first of all, I want to ask you, how you doing? Because congestive failure, diabetes, 4 heart attacks?
Yes.
How are you now?
I'm good, Beverly. Let me say hello to you and thank you for having me come to the live studio for the live program. And I'm happy to do this dish with you, too. I'm well. Yeah. I'm doing very well. And I'm excited to get this year's physical because there are a lot of things that I cut out doing that I no longer do anymore. And I think it's going to make the difference. And I can say to your audience, and especially to African-American men who don't often think to go to the doctor for the first time to get checked out because you need to know, because once you find out, you can begin the healing process if you pay attention to your physician.
4 heart attacks. I mean, you're here by the grace of God.
Mm-hmm.
We all are. We all are.
But especially me.
Yeah. And Angela, that journey had to be a little difficult for you because I know with loved ones, sometimes we have more of the emotional baggage than the person who's going through it because we love them so much. So what was it like for you?
Well, I have this saying that I tell my kids and I tell myself, I said, I'll bend, but I just won't break. It was scary, very scary.
Yeah.
But when you love someone, when you truly love someone, you're there. You're there through it all. And if I'm going through the storm and I'm crying and I'm screaming and I'm yelling, how can I see myself out?
Yeah.
So I just had to be patient and depend on God, whom I know is going to carry me through. And like I told Andre, I said, don't you dare do this to me. Open your eyes while I'm talking to you and listen to me. God got you. God got you. And I just said my prayer and I left it at that.
Yeah.
I left it at that.
All right. You've got a strong woman. I have to tell you that when I talk to Andre, if I see him in person, I can visually see it. But when I'm talking to him on the phone, I can hear it. Mm-hmm. When we talk about Angela, he lightens up. That's a beautiful thing.
Marriage ought to do that. You ought not be married to somebody that doesn't brighten your life and make you feel good. It's something wrong if the love of your life is not the love of your life. And my wife is the love of my life. And I prepared for her. And I can say that since we've been married, I don't have any regrets. I don't have anything to worry about. I don't do anything outside of my marriage that I have to worry about. In fact, I've gotten better at being loyal.
Very good. Very good. Now, we talked about all these different conditions that you've been through. Now, you're going to the doctor because you've changed a lot of things in your life. Yeah. So you have truly evolved, right?
Yep. I'm a farmer. I'm an urban gardener, farmer, even if it's by myself, my own self-made self saying that. I don't have to have a degree because I've fallen in love with nature. I've fallen in love with the soil and what it can do, even in our community. And at some point, if we don't talk about it in this interview, I would love to come back and talk about it with you. Just how having the hands in the soil can keep the young people off the trigger of a gun and just move forward. But there's healing in the sun. There's healing in the soil. There's healing in the water. There's healing in good food. And sometimes there's damage in what we're eating if we don't make it match our DNA and make sure that we're preparing it properly and taking care of it and all of that. So I'm excited about this next week's physical. I'm going to the doctor for a full physical. And I said, I want y'all to check everything. Tell me the condition of my toenails and the end of my hair particles, whatever it is. Because if I had to have a drug test, they would test the hair particles. So test everything because I've given up even some of the drugs I used to do.
Real talk.
The marijuana that I used to smoke every once in a while. I'd get a little toot of cocaine, and I would drink a lot. I would drink with that Tito's vodka and cranberry with lemon was my drink at whatever bar. I won't name the bars because I don't want people to stigmatize bars by name and say, I'm not going there. They're giving people congestive heart failure and stuff like that. The bar doesn't do it. You do. Because I still stop in to see my friends, even though I don't do it, I just don't do it anymore. Yeah. So now I have seltzer with a little splash of grenadine with lemon.
Wow. So this really has been an evolution for you because you no drugs, no marijuana anymore, no drinking.
No cigarette smoking.
No cigarette smoking.
I stopped it all at once. About 7 months ago, I hit the floor at home and while I was out, I could hear the paramedics saying his blood pressure is 70 over 54. Now, 120 over 80 is normal. So imagine 70 over 54. And I heard him say to my wife, if that high number goes any lower, I can't tell you what to expect. And I heard him say that. And then I could hear her saying, Andre, what she said earlier, right. Don't you do this to me. We got some work to do. And she ain't gonna let me talk about that work today, but we got some work to do. Open your eyes up. And when I opened my eyes up, I could see her. And I remember saying to her, Angela, I love you. I'm not going to do it. And then I went back into the black state. And I remember looking at this light. And I'm calling the light God. And I remember saying to the light, I said, okay, God, not today. I've got something else to do, more work to do with Angela. I need to go back. I don't want to do this today. But just recently, I went to a fire station for a meeting. And when I went into the fire station and said my name, the firefighter said, oh, I know that name. I'll never forget it. And then he said to me, 70 over 54. And,
oh, wow.
And I said, wow, he was one of the five. And I said, you remember that? He said, oh, yeah, that was unusual because when you were blacked out, I could hear you talking to God. When you opened your eyes, you were talking to your wife. And that experience was just something for me. So it's really, really real for me. Whether people want to believe or not, I tell my friends that are atheists and people that don't want to believe in God, I got enough faith for you. I've been through enough to pray you through something because God is really real, for real, and you can't make me doubt him like grandmama say. I know too much about him.
I love it. I love it. So now clean eating, you're salt, the natural stuff, the vegetables and all that. And you were saying
as best I can.
As best you can. Okay.
I had 2 Twinkies last night.
Well, you gotta, divert a little bit
with some caramel milk.
All right, sounds good.
But that I try not to do it too
moderation.
often. Yeah.
See, that's the
all
key.
Things.
That's the key.
Yeah.
So you were talking about putting your hands in the soil, and that kind of is a great segue into We Got This, because that's what you were doing with the young kids. How does playing in the dirt, the soil, how does that change lives?
Well, first of all, dirt is what we walk on. It's under the bottom of our shoes. Soil can go into our stomachs. So if you take care of the soil, you can put it in your belly and it can be healing. Back in the day, the old people down south, and even to this day, they would eat the red dirt down south, the red soil. They would go outside and bring the soil in and they would eat it just like they would do the argo starch and things like that, saying that it gives you good iron. But when you have your hands in the soil, and I can imagine that the slaves had to do this, and this is how they were redeemed and how they made it through the day. When your hands are in the soil and you get tired and you're going, just like them old songs, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, marching up to freedom land. And you're toiling and you look up at the sun, and it's something about the brightness of the day. And then you look up again, and then the moon is coming, and you know that the day is in it because you went from sun up to sundown, been picking that cotton, and what is produced out of the soil is so life enriching. The good food that comes out of it, the natural stuff that if you eat it properly, even the more raw you eat it, the better it is for you. So your attitude changes. And then you haven't been with people who have bad attitudes, because usually you're there talking, you're laughing, you're figuring out how to get through. And if somebody I notice the young people, when one get a little angry or get a little discouraged, the other ones will say, hey, let's walk over here. We got to do this, and we got to be here for until this time in order to get paid. Let's act like we know.
Right. So we got this, just to kind of go back to the inception of it. The idea was to bring kids in, say, I'm going to give you some money. You work on a Saturday for a certain amount of hours. And that kind of snowballed. More kids started coming. You got more men involved to mentor these kids, talk to them where they are, show them love, and just help build them up. And I can imagine that, starting from the seed to actually watching something grow, that has to have kind of a psychological effect on the kids too.
It's like being a parent, and if they can start that and do that while they're young, when they become parents, they can use that concept in their life. You plant the seed, and when it comes to fruition, to birth, you have to watch it grow, and you got to do what you got to do to nurture it so that it grows up good. And when it looks sick, you got to get the right nutrients into it to heal it and things like that. But now I ain't with we got this no more.
That's where I'm about to segue.
Oh, okay.
To this new season.
Not that I ever want to
Right.
forget it, because the tuxedo event, the healing of the violence coming down in the community, the way the neighbors came in to help and came together, just how great it was, even till today, what makes it what it is or what it's to become, because now the neighbors are taking it over.
Right. So to me now, you're taking it. It's like the organic side of We Got This. You're an ultimate farm collaborative.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
So it's urban farming or urban gardening is still a part of it, right?
It is what it is. The
Yeah.
great Will Allen created an organization called Growing Power right there at 5500 West Silver Spring, and he is the Baba of urban farming, and he's still around today, still doing it. So we never neglect to give homage and give honor where honor is due. He is one of my mentors and somebody I love, but I happen to be on his land, just like the neighbors kind of took over there. I'm one of his neighbors that's coming to help where he is. And Tyler Schmidt is the young man, 25-year-old little white boy over there that in the hood, that has a farm that his dad left him. And Jordan Steiner is the farm manager. And a few of the young men that worked at the garden with me came over. Rashawn Collins, Alan Armstrong, and a couple of the other young boys who refused to not be where I am. I call them sons. We at the farm now. It's 3.5 acres. We've got goats, sheep. We've got chickens, ducks, turkeys. We have aquaponics. We're getting ready to add hydroponics. But we have entertainment. We have technology. We do virtual farming as well, that we can include people all over the world in what we do every day. And it's only going to get bigger, and it's only going to get better.
Well, I have to ask, I'm wondering, what happened to cause this transition? Was it the health scares that made you think, okay, maybe it's time to move on, or that sense of I'm entering a new season, it's time for me to go? And I'm wondering, when he said that he was leaving We Got This, what was your reaction? Were you like, yeah, right? Or did you see it coming?
I kind of seen it coming, but I was also kind of shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked, shocked, saddened, but I also know Andre,
Mm-hmm.
And when he puts it in his mind to do something, he does it. If he said he's done, he's done. If he said, I'm going to move on and I'm going to explore something else and make it even bigger, he's going to do it.
Like that marriage.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I was pretty shocked. I questioned him the why and what ifs, and he was firm. He was firm with his reasonings and his whys and why nots, and he had it together. So I was like, okay, well, if that's what you're gonna do, I'm right there with you. I'm gonna be right there with you.
Yeah.
And I must say, I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
It was a good move.
It was an awesome move.
Yeah.
It was an awesome move. His whole attitude, demeanor, everything about him is just like, it's like weight
Yep.
has been lifted. Like, and I'm like, okay, I see it. I see. Was it the pressure? Was it pressure
Mm-hmm.
on the heart? Like, was it? I mean, I questioned myself. I said, was that really what was going on? Because sometimes you can love something so much that it kills you.
Mm.
When you can love something so much, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. You know, the reason why I ask you about the end point.
What she just said? that last part about love something so much till you say I'm done.
She wasn't talking about you, honey.
Oh,
She don't
okay.
talk about you. So
Not-
don't worry.
Not like that, Leo. It's not like that.
I'll go ahead and say.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. But I ask you the question because, like, you know that I was with Fox 6 as a reporter anchor for 21 years.
We miss you
And
too.
then, oh, thanks. But then I felt it. I felt there was a new season. It was time to leave. It's like, you know that you know that you know.
Mhm.
And I'm just thinking maybe that's what happened to you.
God speaks,
Yeah.
but do we listen?
Yeah.
And I heard God clearly say, if you go back to the garden, it's going to kill you.
Mm.
That's going to kill you. And I thought, okay, I'm supposed to help Angela with her new season, with what she's got coming. And she don't want to talk about it, but it's really big. It's phenomenal. And we're going to have to come back
It's in the
for
incubation
We're going to have to
part.
come back for a
Incubation.
fifth time to
Yeah.
talk with you about Angela's version. Let's call it that, Angela's version.
I like that.
And so I got a text message or email message from Tyler at the Collaborative Farm about 2 days after I got home from the hospital that said, hey, have you ever thought about bringing We Got This to the farm and working there? And I thought, I'm done with We Got This because I had announced that I wouldn't be working there again. And so he said, well, I'd like to come and talk to you. He came and talked to me. And you know what? If I get a chance to share the rest of that with you, I would love to.
Okay. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and we're going to hear it. So stay with us.
In the society that we were brought up in, it's very hard on little black boys. You have to navigate feelings and emotions so the world don't get you.
Sometimes when I cry, I won't know how I'm feeling or why I'm crying.
I just grew up never feeling like it was okay to cry.
Yeah.
And so he really forced me to have to reconnect with the kid that didn't get to cry.
That's beautiful.
We don't cry. We gon' take our piece of the pie.
This one's for the real ballers and shot callers, the sisterhood of women in tech. They're discovering cures, building apps, and programming the blockchain. They're CEOs, worldwide hustlers who can make it rain. They're tearing down the old boys club and seeing big gains. Because when women in tech come together, you know they make that change.
Welcome back to the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. I am here with Andre Lee Ellis and his lovely wife, Angela. And we were just talking about the Ultimate Farm Collaborative. And, you know, you talk about chickens and goats and, you know, vegetables and a little theater.
The theater.
How does all of that work together?
Well, you know, I was there one day and I was imagining if fruits and vegetables could talk, what would they say? So the title Life Salad came to me and I said, that would be a good production to do right on the grounds here at the farm. How was Disney World created? You know, and Milwaukee needs a lot of things positive to be attracted to the hood, to be said, because it's known nationally for some of the worst statistics in the African American community, and especially with black men and young black men. And so I thought, you know, the Wakanda carrot. So I had this friend that said, I got this carrot suit. So they gave me the carrot suit. I put it on one day and I started playing in the farm in the compost. And I got up on the top of the compost pile and I said, Wakanda forever. And the Wakanda carrot, then I put it on Facebook. And then I said, now if Humpty Dumpty was a black egg, whenever he fell off the stump or something, he wouldn't crack, he wouldn't bend, you know. Like Parliament used to say back in the day, they had a song, Humpty Rumpelstiltskin, he don't rust and he don't bend, you know. And I was like, Humpty wouldn't crack. He would just land on his feet and figure out a way to get back up there again, dust himself off. So let's do Blumpty Dumpty, and then let's what do the chickens say? I say, okay, Mother Goose. She's in charge of everything, and then Mother Goose doesn't have to be a certain color because she's a chicken and gives life and gives birth because she creates the eggs. So Life Salad is the production that I'm working on and hoping one day soon to produce on the grounds right there at the farm.
Okay. So I must tell you, this doesn't just come out of anywhere. I mean, you have a background in theater.
Yeah, 43 years. I was probably about 11 or 12 years old when I first started theater. Started working with the Hansberry Sands Theater Company at 17 years old. Then I went to New York to 1987 to attend Herbert Berghoff School of the Arts. Left there and moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I worked with Jamandi Productions for 3 years. And from there, I did a small stint on the television show In the Heat of the Night. Came back to Milwaukee as the artistic director of the theater company I started with, the Hansberry Sands Theater Company. Went out to L.A. to take a job with Warner Brothers and just didn't like it. Decided to come back to Milwaukee, and I created Andre Lee Ellis and Company. And now, 28 years later, that 501c3 nonprofit organization still exists.
Yeah. We're so blessed that you came back to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
I wouldn't have met Angela if I didn't.
That's right. That is so right. So with this this collaborative, you know, you're teaching young people about gardening and all of that through art, you know, the theater, bringing it home to them. What else is going on out there?
Neighborhood development. I'm the community organizer. So going out into the neighborhood and showing purpose. We're getting ready to start this season to do what Growing Power used to do there, where you could come and purchase or have access to good food. So the farmers market, we're looking at a way to incorporate the business of food. So we're building a cafe there that we'll have coffee and other good healthy treats that people can have. And yes, coffee can be healthy. Studies are showing that coffee is needed. And you coffee drinkers, we got some coffee for you. You know, I've been introduced to mushroom coffee. Coffee.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Made through, well, once you hear about it, you're going to love it because I'm going to bring it to you.
Okay.
Just really excited about the idea of people taking lunch breaks and then coming to the farm for the relaxation that it brings. You know, I'm in there and I never knew that I would be comfortable around the mice, around the birds, around the squirrels, around the raccoons. I know the feeling of Dr. Doolittle. You don't have to do a lot, just do a little around them. And they come and when you begin to communicate in their language, they're not afraid. They freely roam and everything has its purpose on the farm for the growing. The air that we breathe is better. People who have health disparities can come and sit in greenhouse number 2, where a lot of the green vegetables and things are growing. And I watch them take their oxygen tanks off or start to breathe and say, wow, I haven't breathed this clearly in a while. And then as soon as we leave back out the door and get into natural air, it's a problem. The other thing is that you come through the front door, but once you walk into the farm and you go back there where the goats are, goats like you, sheep don't. Okay, the sheep go. They look at you like you could come in here if you want to, but the goats love you. And once you go back there, all of the noise and the chaos of the outside stays on Silver Spring.
Yeah.
But in the midst of the farm, you collaborate with goodness.
That's nice.
It is
That's
nice.
You were talking about, God basically told you, if you kept on what you were doing with "We Got This," you're gonna die. There was a lot to
It
it.
was literal. It was clear.
Right, right. And I can relate to that because when I left the TV station, I was covering a lot of murders and a lot of crime and all this kind of stuff. And when I left, it was like a load came off my shoulders. And my husband said, you smile more. I felt that it was weighing on me, but I just didn't realize how much. And that little small still voice that told you it's time to go, life-saving, right?
It's the same voice.
Yeah.
It's one voice.
Yeah.
That speaks to us all.
Yeah.
God is real. God is good. And God belongs to me. And not only did I leave, we got this into practice because my heart is there and it will be always, and whatever I could do to send people that way to do good things or to go down there and help in whatever way that I can, I'm going to do. But I'm happier. And I was able to stop the things that I couldn't stop. There were a lot of times I said, I want to stop smoking. I used to smoke so much weed. I did. I love smoking weed. I was like, I used to wake up to some weed and I'd be like, go to sleep to some weed, wake up out of my sleep for some weed. And now I don't miss it. I love the energy that I have. When I was in the garden, a lot of times if you came, I could be talking to groups and that's before you know it, I'm falling asleep. And they're saying, Mr. Andre, the groups, I got kids there and I'm talking to them and they're saying, Mr. Andre, you tired? And then I say, amen. I try to play like I was praying. But go ahead.
I keep going.
I'm just saying that, listening is key. When God speaks, listen, because the benefits that come behind listening and then executing, I say go. Go is my word. And anybody that know me on Facebook, anything, a lot of times my one answer is go. And when I say go, that means God only. Yeah. That's why I say go. Just like I say big. And when I say big, it's because it's God. So go big. Go only. God only because it's God. You know what I mean? And it works for me. I think you tell yourself how to be successful. There's no cure for death. And until there's no cure for anything living. But I'm writing a book and I'm trying to figure the exact title of the book. But every time I try to change the title, this one comes back. Since I have to die anyway, I might as well die beautiful.
I like that title. Don't change it.
Don't change it?
No. Okay. I like that.
Ching, ching.
Ching, ching. I like it a lot. I have to ask you, Angela, because, in my past career, I interviewed Andre a lot. And I remember going to the garden. I remember there were times when I looked at you and you didn't look well. And now I look at you and you're glowing. So I have to go back to you again. This change was truly ordained. I mean, it was meant to be, right?
Yes, it was. It was. Although he enjoyed it and that's where his heart was, like you said, it was also draining. It was nights where he still don't sleep, but it was nice that he really didn't get any sleep because
don't tell all my business.
The boys would come to him. He would get out of the bed. He was going and rescuing the boys. He was always out and about doing doing what he do best. We got this. That would be his slogan when he's trying to save them from whatever was going on. Because Mr. Andre, I'm stuck over here. Mr. Andre, the police got me and so we're on this street. Here he is putting his clothes on, trying to rescue him. Well, not trying because bring him back to the house.
Children go where I send thee.
I'm like, okay, what's going on? Well, they just gonna count. Okay, well, how many times we gonna do this?
Yeah.
To the day I die.
And that will be his answer. And it's just, I don't know, I'm happy that he's where he is right now in his life. always tell him, I said, whom God calls, he qualifies. So you being at the farm, that's where you want to be, then I already know that you're going to do your best because you don't do nothing but your best.
But giving up those things
Made
that I
a
gave up,
made a huge difference.
Yeah.
not only did it make a huge difference, it got me home more. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
not at the bar
That's
anymore.
right.
I'm not hanging out with the friends. And let me tell you something else, Beverly. My phone stopped ringing. I don't have no
Yep.
more blunts.
Oh,
they stopped calling me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I tell people all the time, my best friends, I've never been to their house. But my enemies stop by mine every day.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's thought provoking right there.
That is. So I don't let some people in the house. You got to come to the porch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't get in the house because they get in the house, they know your business. We speaking on the porch. That's the easiest way to get you back to your car, bike, shoes, or however you got there. You got to go.
Very good.
Trouble, get out of my way.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Well, and when I started this, I was talking about everything. There is a season, and you come into a new season, and it's wonderful. But thinking of the old season where you were at we got this. You planted a lot of seeds in young men's lives, and so I want to personally say thank you for what you did. These young men, they still remember you. They still call you pops or whatever, and you're still a part of their lives. And I thank you for allowing him to do that and being that confidant, that counselor, that that person that you could lean on. You guys, for this one, I want to say thank you. Thank you for finally coming and joining me and talking, and you bringing Angela because she's like the icing on the cake, right?
Yep. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for having us. And any chance that we get to expose goodness to people that are lost, that think that they can't find it, to people think that they really got it all going on and don't, I say to everybody, just stop and slow down, take a deep breath, and just wait on God because He already has what you need in order to finish.
Amen. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. I'm Beverly Taylor, and we are a nonprofit organization. So if you are so inclined to help us out, go to our website, the411live.org. Until next time, God be with you. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.